Namaskar. Today I'm going to do this is a short video. I was just looking at the horoscope of India and looking at certain transits, and I thought this was important. See, I've been saying this in a lot of my previous videos that 15th August 2025 to 15th August 2026 is not a good period. It is showing a lot of conflict, external as well as internal dilemma in the country. And within this, and I've said this previously as well, if you look at the period from 15th November 2025 to 15th June 2026, within this year, if we look at this period, this is wrought with a lot of trouble. Okay. Now, within this larger period, which is 15th November to 15th June, if we look at the period of 5th January to 5th May, that is further pronouncing the effects. Now, let me quickly discuss the month of January. Why this month caught my attention? 3 4 planets are coming together and forming a yoga, a conjunction in Sagittarius in Dhanu, which is the eighth house in this horoscope of India, which is a Taurus Lagna horoscope. Now they're all coming together after the 5th of January. Okay, so after the 5th of January, all these planets are coming together: Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, and by the sixth night, they're all of them are joining in the Purvashada nakshatra, which represents the eastern direction. Now, eastern direction, West Bengal, Bihar, Bangladesh border. Now, then this caught my eye, and I said, okay, let me make the Paksha Kundlis. Now, you know how Paksh Kundli is made. I've explained it previously also. Many moons back, I used to discuss the Paksh Kundlis. Now I don't get into the finer details. So 3rd January onwards, we have 3rd January is Purnima, Pausha Purnima. That is when we make the Kundli. So 3rd January to 18th January. 3rd January to 19th January. That is the Paksha. 3rd January to 19th January is the Paksha within this period. And this Paksha is showing trouble. 3rd January to 19th January, this Paksha is showing trouble. Within this, after 5th of January, the planets are combining in Purvashada Nakshatra, and by 7th, even Mercury joins Purvashada, 7th of January, even Mercury joins Purvashada Nakshatra. Now, this is involving the Lagna Lord and the 4th Lord in the 8th house. The Dashas are also such. Remember, it cannot be just that, oh, 5 planets came and formed a yoga in the 8th house. No. The transit is not going to deliver. See, first you have to check if the promise is there. The promise has to be checked from the Dasha. Once you check the promise from the Dasha, then you look at the transit. And you know the transit will now define the timing of the event to fructify. That is how it is. Now, so one knows clearly within this Paksh, which is 3rd to 19th, 5th to 19th is troublesome. Okay. But if you look at the larger period, if I look at the Dasha, what really got me worried, that a Dasha which is going from the 3rd to the 23rd of January, largely if you ask me the month of January, because there are many juxtapositions, I don't want you to get confused. Now, this entire month is showing trouble. See, there could be a natural calamity is in the eastern states. The ruling government of these eastern states could start a period which would now define a rough terrain going forward for them. Even the central government will face a lot of trouble because of this. So these are the 2 points. Now, from 5th January to 5th May, be very clear that something definitely is coming up on the borders, whether it is a strike, a surgical strike. And I just hope that we are not caught napping. I'm sure we will not be caught napping, But remember, and I've said this in very many of my previous videos, that India is getting surrounded from all the directions. Pakistan, Bangladesh, surrounded by all directions is fine, but hostile surroundings are not very great, and you can't be bombarded from all directions. And then what do? Because then you are fighting battles on all fronts, and then something is bound to fall. China too is going to create trouble. It is just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time. Now, this gentleman from Bangladesh got the Nobel Peace Prize, Mr. Yunus. And see what is happening in Bangladesh. Now, I wonder, Nobel Peace Prize, what does it do? Is it just another form of appeasement? I'm just wondering. I'm not saying it is, but these days one has to be careful. Okay. 5th January to 5th May. Now, and within this, I've told you the month of January is definitely showing trouble. 5th to 19th January is showing trouble. Even after that, when I take a larger arc, why am I taking a larger arc? Because around the 17th, 18th January, Mars is moving into Capricorn. And from 17th, 18th January to 24th February, Mars will be in Capricorn, and that will show a lot of unrest in communities. It is showing conflict in communities. The borders will show trouble. So it is not just, so there's a larger arc, as I said. It's not just January. It can start in January, but remember this transit of Mars in Capricorn because of the dashas. So again, if we are saying, okay, 5th to 18th or 19th January, but again from there on, Mars is showing trouble, and then we know we are moving to February. So the larger arc, so let's not, bifurcate every small 5-6 days, because then those become very difficult to even people who are following. They can also get a little confused. So largely 5th January to 5th May. Be ready for trouble in this period. And be careful. Don't just now be very adventurous in these periods. At least for the common man, that makes sense. For the soldiers on the border, the duty is different. For the governments also, the duty is different. But what can the common man do? Be careful. Be aware of your surroundings, and don't be too experimentative in terms of travel and tourism. However, it's absolutely your wish, but what I can see from the charts is what I'm narrating. And yes, see, whatever I predicted previously, now in these months, at least you will see the trend of it, and you will know that now it will be ready to fructify. If not within this period, but this period will set the tone for those events to fructify. That's how it is. The larger arc was 15th November to 15th June. Within that, 5th January to 5th May. Within that, January, of course, but the trend is continuing. I won't just limit it to January, but I've given you the dates when the degrees are coming all together. There's something definitely happening within this period, which is 5th January to 19th January. The Paksha is 3rd to 19th, but yeah, 5th to 19th because of a certain dasha is why I'm talking about this particular period. So I hope this helps. Namaskar.